I got 2 different width pieces. I want to miter them so that when they come together, they make a nice tight 90-degree corner. You can't just put 45s on these and call it a day because they're 2 different widths. These ends are cut to 45 and look what happens. When I put them together, it indeed makes a 90, but it doesn't match up. So how do we figure out which angle to cut which piece at in order to get them to mate up? I've got a very quick, very easy way to do this, and most importantly, in my opinion, it's one of the safest ways to do this as well. I'm gonna start with 2 brand new pieces here. These are not cut to some magic number that's gonna make this trick work. It will work with any 2 widths that you need to put together. I'm gonna start with the thin piece going on top of the wider piece. I have no idea why I start with the wider piece, I just do. This has been cut to 90 degrees at the end, so that makes it very easy. I'm just gonna slide it up using my square to keep it 90 degrees until I'm flush on the end of this. I'm gonna take my square and set it aside, and rotate this so you guys can see exactly where I'm cutting or where I'm marking here. I'm just gonna make a mark, just like that. That's all I need to do. That's the end of my layout. I'm all the way done now. I'm gonna take a sliding T-bevel just like this. We're gonna put it up here. This will let me find that angle. It won't tell me what the angle is, and to be honest, I don't really care. But we're gonna adjust this just until I meet this mark and that corner. And that looks good to me. So let's take all 3 of these over to the miter saw. All right, we're gonna use the sliding T-bevel to establish this angle. Again, we don't care what the angle is. I'm gonna override the detents on here, and we're gonna slide this over, pull the guard out of the way so we can see what the heck we're doing. And I'm just gonna pivot this blade until it matches the angle that we found on our sliding T-bevel. That looks good to me. So we're gonna lock this down so that it can't move. All right, with this locked into this exact position, I'm gonna take some double-sided tape. I'm gonna stick it right here on this part. I don't want it on the spinning part, but this part of the table. I'm just gonna leave it right there. If you're not a fan of double-sided tape, it's because you're using the wrong one. I'll leave a link to the good stuff down in the description. I'm gonna take the wide board and I'm gonna set it right up against here. I'm just gonna simply up against here and down, just like we would any other normal cut. That's gonna hold this here so that I can spin this back around here in just a second. But with it held in place here, I'm gonna make my first cut. All right, now we can get rid of this scrap piece and turn the detents back on, and we'll just lock this right back down into 90. And you can see that this piece stayed perfectly still, and that's exactly where I wanted it. What I'm gonna do is now use this as a fence. So I'm gonna take more double-sided tape, very simple. You guys probably can't see because my hand is in the way, but we're just gonna lay a strip right here, and that's where we're going to put our second piece. Now you remember, we didn't make any marks on this. We don't need to. We're using the material itself to determine what this complementary angle is. I'm gonna take this, slide it right up against here, and push down, just like this. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna hold not only this piece so I can get my hands out of the way, it'll also hold our scrap piece that falls off as well and keep it from coming up and hitting the back of the blade. So with this taped down, I'm gonna go ahead and make my one cut at 90 degrees. All right, now we can simply pop this off, just like this, get rid of the scrap. We can just simply use the tape to take the old tape off. You can see how well that sticks, so it makes it very safe. Let's take these back to the bench and see what we got. All right, so here's the wide one, here's the narrow one, and if we slide these up to each other, that is a pretty tight and nice looking joint, if you ask me. 90 degrees, that's what we wanted. So 2 pieces, unequal widths, mitered together, perfect 90. All we have to do is lay out the width of that one, and the rest of it just kind of falls into place. So hopefully that helps you guys out.